a lot of people have been asking when we're dropping our episode.
Yes.
But the reality of our schedules is real.
I've been busy.
But we made it. And before we dive into our episode, I just want to check in with the three of y'all. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Trucking and driving, moving. Definitely, as we mentioned, busy times. I think the weather is not making things any better.
No.
The fact that it's snowing in the middle of April, with barely any sun in sight. So I think once we start getting these warmer days, sunnier days, it will also contribute to being at least a more light environment.
Yeah. I feel that.
I agree.
Dari, you've been hosting and running all around.
Yeah,
really
definitely exhausted, but I think work is work. But I love when we come together or have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What I'll say is I do appreciate, well, it's tough for us to get together. We're constant on our group chat, just checking in.
Yeah.
And if I don't hear from y'all, I just know we're going through it. So I appreciate the good morning text messages and the check-ins.
Happy Mondays and all that.
And Jess, you've been sick.
On my deathbed.
What's going on, girl?
I'm feeling good now.
You don't look like it.
Oh,
Well,
I don't look good?
like you were on your deathbed.
I knew what you meant. That was funny. I have not been that sick probably since I had COVID in 2021. And it was 3 days. And then it was just trying to get back into the groove and post being sick.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling good now.
He's got to get down to 180. So I'll come back around.
Okay.
Remember, you guys can chat.
We're good at chatting.
And I'll let you know once the temperature's ready
Perfect.
for you.
Take up the time.
Okay. So in other words, do not touch this.
No.
Because it's hot. But I will say it smells so good.
Wait, Liza, how
How
are
are you? Exactly. I was we're not skipping over that.
I'm doing good. You know, what I'll say is Cameron's on spring break.
Nice.
And he has a great trait from his mother, not his father. He has been cleaning the house, organizing things, doing laundry, and just hanging out with Kenzo. So
Love that.
I actually get to go to work and just not have to worry about pick up and drop off for a week, which is nice. So I'm kind of enjoying that and being able to be here too. So
Yeah.
doing good.
So what you're saying is you have a green flag me.
Okay.
She has a green flag husband.
That's right. Emphasis on husband.
Emphasis on husband.
But I don't think he had red flags. I think he had some orangey ones that he just had to work on.
Yeah.
That turned into green flags. Like when we talk about being a people pleaser, I think he comes from a family that has given so much to people. So that was something that he had to learn. And me as a feisty little person, I'm like, you're not doing that for that person. Or pushing him to kind of
set boundaries almost.
exactly zero boundaries, which is another red flag.
Yeah.
I feel like, but that's something
Shows
you
a good
learn.
heart, though.
It is.
Shows
It's
a good heart. Yeah.
But it's just we gotta protect your heart. So
That's why God sent you.
that's right. And I think that's something to talk about.
Yeah.
There may be some red flags. I don't know. Let's talk about it. Are there red flags that you're like, we can kind of deal with it and kind of turn to orange and yellow and green, or?
I was going to ask that because I don't think it's not anyone else's job to fix someone's red flags.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? We all have to do our own work. We all have to take accountability for what our red flags are. But I think it's hard to determine. We talk about people's potential.
Yeah.
Right? And so how do you determine this is either already a red flag or this is a yellow flag? But is it reversible?
Right.
And so how do you determine that and how much time do you give a person? I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
But I think so much of it is if that person is willing to take accountability for whatever and own whatever their red flags are, and then actually put things into action to change it and do better for themselves, not for the other person.
Right. Because what if they didn't know it was actually a red flag? And you're like,
Yeah.
actually, you hella flashy for whatever reason.
Right.
And they're probably like, oh, I didn't know that or whatever. That's a terrible example, but.
Well, where I was also going to go with that is what if their red flag is a red flag because you consider it a red flag?
Right.
Like, what if, I'm going to throw an example out there, right?
Go there.
Like, what if you consider a guy who wears Skechers sneakers?
She
right?
looked right at me. She looked
Right?
right at me. You've seen my
What
list.
if that's a red flag for you? No, I think that's a red flag.
Yeah,
That's a big flag.
one of the first things I look at is a man's feet. Like,
But like, what
because
if
of
you
the
consider
shoes.
that a red flag and it's like, is that really something they need to work on? Or is it really just me that's like, I need to work on?
He could get
So-
other sneakers.
Skechers is rough. Free
Right.
Skechers. Anyway.
No shame to Skechers here.
Yeah, sponsor us. So,
Skechers is crazy. That's like wearing a Helios. Remember the Helios?
I do remember those.
Heelys? Oh,
Those are the
yeah.
ones with the roller
Yeah, yeah,
blades.
You might as well
What
throw
if,
those on.
okay, hold on. What if he's fine as hell
Mm.
and
he's got Skechers on.
he's so nice?
It's a no for me, dog.
Smells good.
Smells good.
Uh-huh.
I'd get the ick. I would probably say so.
So we're saying there's a difference between a red flag and
Yes,
ick.
there's a difference between a
Okay.
red flag and an ick.
Okay, I get
I like that.
Yeah, that's a good differentiation. A
Okay.
guy wearing Skechers is an ick, but not a red
So you
flag.
would never forget that. Like,
No, I would never forget that. That would be my first impression of him.
Like if you don't
But-
care, or if you're like cheesy with it.
I can take accountability and say that it's a picky side of me, and it is superficial, and it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
I mean,
It is an ick. It's not a red flag. It's an
No,
ick.
yeah.
But it could be a red flag though too, if they just don't care.
yeah, if they don't care, then that's like, whatever. But
So to anyone who wears Skechers, you're beautiful and you are loved, and I'm sorry.
not by Jess, though. All right, so we get the comments here. And
We heard you guys.
we
We
heard
did.
ya.
Some of y'all were loud.
There are quite a few here, so I'm just gonna pick one out. Words, but no actions and follow through.
So are we talking just in relationship? Or are we talking friend, like in general?
In general,
I think
Right?
this should apply to any
general,
relationship
yeah.
that you have. Friendship,
Mm-hmm.
romantic relationship.
Working.
work.
Yep, work
Yeah.
is a big one.
Yeah.
Even family. Like
Yes.
the relationships that you have with your family.
That also speaks to when I think of words but no actions, this idea that we see people's potential and we want them to follow through and act, but they don't come through. And just understanding that they're not about to change, like
It's
you
on them.
said, it's on them.
It's on that.
And they talk this talk, and you're like, if you really just came through
Mm-hmm.
and did it, but they don't, man, that's huge red flag for me. This one I agree with. Yeah, 1000%.
I would like to say and point out too, I think it's not an excuse or a justification, but I do think when you talk about mental health, like I know people who their words and their actions might not align and they have the best intention to follow through.
Yeah.
But there's other factors at play, right? It's maybe doing something actually makes them feel anxious and then they feel like crippled, like they can't do it. That's still on them to sort through and figure out with support. And that doesn't mean that it's your responsibility to guide them through it necessarily, as much as you might love that person, family member, relationship, whatever it might be. But that would be one thing that I would say when it comes to being able to actually follow through. Like some people have battles you have no idea, right? And they're not transparent, they're not communicating. And so giving grace and being able to understand that.
And I would say I struggle with that one a little bit in all areas just because I am a doer naturally. So if I say something, if I commit to something, I'm going to do it. But I have to remember that not everyone's me and gives people and situations grace.
Yep.
And also life that shit happens.
Yep.
So that's also something that I also have to remember. Sometimes I expect like, but you said, or but we are. And then, but not everyone is me.
Yeah, I think that also comes with that balance of you're allowed to change your mind.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can change your mind about things for reasons that you don't even have to explain.
Right.
But at the same time, at what point do things start to become too consistent in the wrong direction?
So to that point, Bree, one of the comments that we got was people pleasing can be a red flag.
Yep.
And I know for me, part of my journey in self-growth has been I can say no. I don't have to give a paragraph long excuse as to why I am saying no. But just because I did commit to something, I might not be able to show up in that way, and I can communicate that. And then also being received with grace and understanding, you know that that's a healthy relationship, whatever type of relationship it is.
Yeah.
But I think we have so much fear of letting other people down at the expense of our own well-being.
Yeah. How do you, I want to pull on that one because I feel like, and I don't want to speak for all of us here, but I think this whole table, we are givers and we're like, we'll go above and beyond for people. We pour into people. I love the idea of saying, I'm not doing it.
I've learned from you a lot in that way.
Yeah.
Like, just so that you know, within our friendship, I'm like, I've watched you in more work settings, right?
Yeah.
But you just say no unapologetically. So I see that in you and I respect it a lot.
But sometimes I struggle with that. And I think it's more on, with work, I've learned to say no. Like, well, that's not part of my scope.
Yeah.
If you want that to be included, we need to have a conversation. But when it comes to friends and family, I still struggle a little bit overall.
Do we have to mix it first? Oh, so okay, so this. Okay.
In the wax.
In the wax.
Stir with the spoon for
Okay.
2 minutes. And you can stir kind of rigorously, so don't be.
Stir it up, little darling. No? No one knows any Bob Marley here? Wow. No one
said
knew
Bob
that?
Marley?
Stir it up.
We don't have it.
Kenzie?
I'm not familiar with
Red flags. That's crazy. Sorry, Bob. Rest in peace.
What's a song that you feel like everybody should know, or it'll be a red flag to you if they don't know?
Every little thing.
What would be a song?
Be all right.
I mean, yes, that's a classic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know that one.
That must be Little Birds.
That, yes.
Yeah.
He's stirring really aggressively over there, Bree.
Hey, that's what he said.
He did say it.
Is it a red flag if you don't go to the state fair?
It's a red flag if you're dating someone and you don't want to take them to the fair. Like, that lets me know the level of dating that we're on at that
Yeah,
point.
because you can be kids and you can be cute and you can. The fair is fun.
And
The fair is expensive.
It
too.
is very expensive.
What are you hiding?
Right.
Ooh, yeah, because you run into everyone at the fair.
Okay. So we have lacking emotional intelligence and awareness.
We talk about that a lot, I feel like, our generation in particular.
Yeah.
I feel like we come from a generation that was just all about grind, right? And just focus on everything that you got going on, your job, raising your family. And so there wasn't really like, do you need help?
Yeah.
It's stuck in a glove.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Do you want me to help you? We need a close up over here.
Look at me about to drop it.
Also, wait, hold on, girl. Do you realize your popsicle stick isn't in the hole? Isn't in the
Red
Put it
flag.
on.
Not in the hole.
your popsicle stick isn't in the hole.
What's the word I'm looking for? It's not considered a red flag more than it is like maybe a trait that I value in someone having. So it's like if you lack that, then I'm not turned on to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like trait isn't the word I'm looking for, but it'll come to me. Definitely a must, though. Yes, absolutely.
So cute.
We were talking earlier about how people might not realize they even have a red flag. And so I think part of relationship is you kind of act as a mirror for that person, right? And so like friendships, relationships, even at work, people kind of highlight tendencies you might not realize about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so with emotional availability, especially, are you bringing these things to the table in terms of discussion on what you're going through or where you're at emotionally, right? Or am I kind of like that mirror that's trying to show you, but you have clouded vision because you're just not capable of seeing it yourself? Does that make sense? That was a weird analogy. But.
No, it does make sense. It'll also, I think from experience, if an individual lacks emotional intelligence, especially, and the other partner has emotional intelligence, it will cause a lot of friction in the relationship for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Gaslighting. This happens so often.
I feel like it happens so often, and what we don't talk about enough
Yes.
is if you're gaslit so much, and you're not even necessarily aware of it, you start gaslighting yourself.
Yeah.
So give me an example of that.
Put me on the spot. I think it ends up being if somebody is constantly saying something about you, right? And they're gaslighting you. Eventually, when their voice is gone, if it's gone, your own inner voice takes over that same role and starts questioning yourself, doubting yourself, telling yourself lies because you're used to the chirping.
that. Yeah.
We see it in the workplace a lot, I would think, right? I would think a lot of people feel gaslit in the workplace. Talk about imposter syndrome, talk about all those different things. And then eventually your confidence and your self-awareness or ability to work through things, you start questioning it, even though you know you're capable.
Yeah. It's like someone saying something about you that's not true, but you hear it so much that you start to believe, oh, I'm terrible at whatever. It's a lot.
I'm going to pivot a little bit. This isn't on here. Women's bodies. And as young girls, frequently having comments made about your body, whether your body's developing and growing, whether maybe you're a little overweight, right? And so that narrative isn't even necessarily true, but you're hearing it. And then what do we do as women? We start picking on our own bodies, wishing they looked a certain way, wishing they met societal standards. I heard a quote the other day. I think it was actually at church. But it was like basically when that chirping's in your head and you're saying all these lies about yourself, you're doing the devil's work for him. He can sit back and eat popcorn. And I was like, dang, that's true. Like I just took homie's job. Like now I'm beating up on myself. And I think that all ties in.
Yeah.
These smell amazing, by the way.
Don't
I'm
they?
like, oh.
I love it.
Are these soy?
Coconut soy.
Coconut soy. So I see one on here that is on the spicier side.
Ooh, okay, let's get spicy.
But I feel like counters exactly what you just said. Okay. So small peni.
That wasn't a comment. Did you write that?
Jess, go along with it. What are you doing?
But also,
just like
red flag.
So like, is that considered a red? Can things that are out of a person's control?
No, they're not a red flag if they're out of someone's control. You just choose. You just choose whether you put up with them or not.
It's all about the motion in the ocean.
But a red flag is almost like a warning sign telling you to stop. So I feel like so many
it's telling you to stop.
characteristics come with that. There's insecurity. There's little man syndrome, and it's like, do you want to?
Okay, so if you have a small penis,
said it.
Too much.
It's a red flag. Stop, because that is probably connected to
Other
low
I feel like that's a
confidence.
strong assumption, though. I'm sure there's guys walking around very confident, arrogant. Yeah.
Right, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're flashy.
Yeah, like peacocking, they call it. Peacocking. Get it?
So is it, a red flag could be something that's going to be like, yo, this is what I'm dealing with. Or not.
True. Or entire.
Is it less of a red flag? Listen,
It's a red flag.
is it less of a red flag if they're transparent and open about it? I feel like there's probably
Do
an
you think
element.
there will be transparent?
Well, I mean, they have to be. 'Cause that's-
Yeah.
Yes, you're gonna figure it out.
But how do you get in?
I think there's probably always a fear of rejection,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
But I think a guy that is able to be open and transparent and like has enough like legit confidence
Yes.
to just come out and say it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know where I stand on the topic. All that being said,
But I feel like that's what I love about the world today,
Mm-hmm.
like 2025 and technology. There's so many alternatives.
Liza, I want to know.
There's so many opportunities, you know. Like,
Minaj
you know,
voice, I get it.
if they have a little one, it's because they want to have a little one.
Okay.
Oh, so you are talking cosmetic surgery?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's surgery out there, even for short guys.
So let me ask you a question.
Dory's like, that's fine. You have the whole
Girl.
package except for the package. Go get surgery, then we can
Right,
talk.
I was
Getting
just
it.
about to ask
The
you that.
girls are going to the shop.
That's true. So if the guy is perfect, but he has a little one, would you consider asking him to go get an enhancement?
I wouldn't if that's not something he want to do. But if he did,
You would support it
if he
a lot.
went already, I'd be like, okay, cool. What you getting?
Guys, can we pause and look at Kenzie's face right now?
What you getting, bro?
I mean, Daria made a good point. The lengths that women go through.
The lengths
Yeah.
that women go through.
Okay, you know,
The
no
length.
pun intended here,
Yeah.
to make changes to
Yeah.
their bodies.
Come on, sister.
Amen.
Is it? Well, I mean, I don't know, because a man technically wouldn't ask a woman to do it, right?
I know men who have asked women to get stuff done on their bodies.
What?
Hmm
And
and
they've
then
done
paid
it?
for it.
They've paid for it and the woman's done it.
That's
Wow.
Not
what
just one.
contributes to those insecurities. that
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
referring to.
Exactly.
That's a red flag. That's crazy.
But I think that's what can drive men crazy too. Like, nah, that's my BBO.
Yeah.
That's my shit.
Breast implants, like,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
crazy. This is getting crazy.
Entitlement over another person's body part.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I wouldn't mind if a guy was going to get something.
So you would support a guy getting an enhancement.
If it worked, I'll try it.
Okay.
She said, if it works, I'll try it.
So then that means you can't deny him off the rip.
You cannot.
Because
Nah, I'm saying like if he went before.
Mm.
Like if
So you won't get with someone and then he's perfect. He takes you out. He does everything you want
I'm
from a
also
man.
the wrong person to be talking about this. Cause
This is hypothetical. This is hypothetical.
All of this is
hypothetical. Very hypothetical.
yeah, you won't know until you know.
Right.
And I think at that point, you know, it's a no for me, dog.
What if they're like,
Oh, you're really
Yo,
trying to get her
Dari,
to say something
you-
else.
you left me, but I went and got it. Like,
Ooh.
take him back.
Oh, but then that's also showing someone who feels the need to change themselves for another person.
People pleasing?
Yeah.
Mm.
As adults, it can be like, I like this, you like
Yeah.
that, I don't want this, I can't put up with that. And like,
Yeah.
cool, you're not compatible.
Yeah. Move on.
That's what I was thinking.
Put someone else there for that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're saying before y'all meet and he's
they
like,
got
yo,
it.
I got an enhancement. You're like, all right, cool. I don't care.
Yeah, if they got it before because they wanted to, I think that's fine.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because women get things all the time too.
Valid. This smells really good.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy.
But don't do it because someone's telling you to do
Right.
it. 'Cause
Yeah,
then that's
needs to be your own
flag,
choice.
yeah.
With any of this. With any of this.
Mhm.
All right. Pick a red flag
Oh, my
from there.
turn. I think no humor is one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why do you have to be so serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it would be a red flag just because I joke all the
Yeah.
damn
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Period. So, yeah. What are
Yeah.
my thoughts?
I wrote that one.
Um,
So,
Why'd you write it?
because I'm at a point in my life that life is serious, but
Mhm.
it's not that serious. And I think joy, happiness, funniness, like feeds my soul.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think, and part of that is being funny and having humor in your everyday life.
Yeah.
And even like when I'm arguing, we just like bust out laughing.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. It's cute.
So I think I just enjoy being around funny people, and I love laughing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Make me laugh.
yes. If you can't make me laugh, red flag.
Yep.
Can I tell you, I used to be a red flag because I was
Nothing
a
funny.
very serious person.
Really?
And then I had to realize life didn't need to be as serious as I was making it.
Yeah.
And I kind of developed more of a softer, funny side.
How do you think you got there?
Um,
Because you probably always had it in you. It was just a matter of it coming out.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I think that's one of those, as you think about, there's some red flags that they stem from trauma or they stem from life experiences, even subconsciously.
Yeah.
That could have been one,
Yeah.
which I haven't delved into yet. So,
Yeah. But I also, knowing you, I never would have thought that.
well, that's great. That means I've
Like,
come a
we're
long
always
way.
laughing.
That's good.
I can see that too, from like high school to now.
A very serious person. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love to have conversations. So, like, I don't know if I could be with someone who is always serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's exhausting.
Very
Yeah.
exhausting.
I used to be one of those people that like hated. I was so serious, I would get mad at certain types of shows, right? Like Ed, Edd and Eddie, right? I'm like, oh, this is so annoying and stupid.
Yeah,
like shut up.
But
It's trying so.
are you happy that you transitioned from being serious to
Yeah,
not that you weren't joyful?
absolutely. I think it was more so like being afraid to show too much emotion. So may have blocked that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Always being strong.
Also, I think we as women, showing emotion is stigmatized a lot. Right? Like, we're erratic. You know, like we can't stay composed. Emotion's beautiful.
Yeah.
On the other end, men aren't allowed to be emotional. I think the only emotion that guys get a pass on, but not even all the time, is anger. It's like, well, he's a dude, he can pop off, right? Now, I'm not talking like aggressive, violent behavior, because then they're checked. So it's almost like they can't win. Like the one emotion they do show and don't know how to properly show sometimes, then they're reprimanded for.
Right.
And then go ahead.
Oh, no, you can go.
No, then I was just saying, we as women, like, we know all the emotions. We feel all the emotions. Like, we overcompensate for the emotions.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I love when men show emotion and when they laugh
Yeah.
and when they get excited, you know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I do love that
I
too.
think a lot of it is fostering environments where they can feel those emotions too. Like, it doesn't always need to be public too. I think that's a lot. Like, I'm like, oh, girls want guys who show emotions all the time. It's like, no.
Not all the time.
No, exactly. It's like, there's a time and a
That can
place.
be a little exhausting.
Yeah.
Control your emotions.
Red flag.
Control
But
your
that's what we're saying about emotional intelligence.
Right.
Be aware of your emotions.
Right.
Know when it's appropriate to maybe show them and how. Right? The time and place. Be able to process them and think about them.
Right.
I'm looking at everyone's candles too, and as they're drying and they're getting so pretty. I love it.
I love how some like just fell in a little bit. It's so cute. I know. I love the trunks.
Wait, I'm curious.
Yeah.
While we're still on this topic, raising a son, like how to help him navigate life and understanding that it's okay to be emotional or show emotion, and just like the type of environment that you create for him there.
That is such a great question. I love it. One of the things about Kenzo, he is quiet. And I always share with him that I always ask him how he's feeling. And that if he's feeling sad, it's okay. If he's feeling angry, if he doesn't know, because I feel like he's also at a stage where he's 10. Sometimes we wake up and feel some type of way and we just don't even know why we feel that way. So I try to ask him, how are you feeling? Because I can tell. Like I know him. I know when he's not feeling his 100%. And I reassure him that it is okay. Like, if you're not feeling great right now, if you want to cry, that's okay. One of the things that we're working on is him communicating. Because he's quiet, like he'll keep it to himself. And sometimes I'll go talk to him. I said, do you want your space? And he'll say yes. Or do you want to talk to mommy about it right now? Yes, no.
Yeah.
And then also, I think it comes from me. It comes from his father. And now, obviously, Cameron. And Cameron showing his emotions and him seeing that, I think, is a great example. So I do a lot of reassurance that it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. And we're working on, we have to communicate that so that I can help you if you want my help. So that's something we're working on because he's still, like, he's very much like me that I like to have my own space so I can process. Like, don't talk to me. I just need my own space. And then later, I'm like, okay, so what were you mad about? Or what was bothering you? And he'll say, whatever it is. Like, he'll come around and talk to me. And sometimes it's the next day where he's like, Ma, I remember when I was like not feeling this great. It was because of this. And I feel like sometimes he just doesn't know, or maybe he has a tough day at school because kids are mean.
Right.
So we're working on communication, though.
I love that, especially the communication piece.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I have a friend who told me that she has younger children. And one of them are on the older side. They're about 7. And she notices that her communication style, she's a quiet individual, not the most outspoken. So what she does from time to time is ask her to write out what she wants to communicate in a journal. And then she'll read the journal and respond back to her in the journal.
Yep.
So, like, understanding the communication style, I think, is
very
also
important.
very critical
Yes.
when you're trying to navigate children's emotions.
Yes. Because imagine, as adults, we rarely know how to manage our emotions. Imagine being a kid, just feeling those feelings and not knowing.
You don't have decades of life experience to back it up.
It's
or know
tough.
why.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Leah and I do the journal thing. She'll write in the journal. Mainly when she want to tell me something that she's afraid of my response.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, hey, Mom, I wrote in the journal. And then I have her working on her writing. So I found that at the end of the day, when I was asking her about her day, she'll just be like, good. And then I've been trying to get creative with what I asked.
Yes.
But now I have like printouts that have prompts.
Yep.
So she can tell me about her day. The best part of my day was because, and it was with that person and where. And then on the other side, it's the tricky parts of my day.
Yes.
And every day she writes on both sides.
Yep.
And that has been working so far.
I had to switch my communication with Kenzo too because same answer. Good. Okay. So it's like, what was boring about your day? What was fun? Did anybody do anything crazy? Like, you just have to ask open-ended questions. And then I started seeing him. I should have him write it, though, because he does need to practice.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me. He now, like, he'll get in the car, and I'm like, hey, Bubs, how you doing? Whatever. And then, like, within, like, 3 minutes or so, he's like, so today, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, it's working. So,
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
My mom growing up always made sure that I wrote. And I would be like, ugh, right?
Yeah.
But now as an adult, I know when I am at my healthiest mentally, I am journaling every morning before I do anything else. I'm getting all my thoughts out, all my plans for the day, like whatever it is. It's when I know I'm sharp, I'm feeling good, I'm dealing with my stuff. And then there have been times in my life where I'll go 3 months and I don't write. And then I'm like, I was going through something. I was avoiding. Usually it's my avoidance coming out. Like, nope, I don't want to write it because then I got to deal with it. Then I got to process it. But when I'm doing like good mentally or just feeling, like I'm at a good stage in life, I'm writing hard things.
Yeah.
but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I commend you guys a lot as moms for
Right.
instilling communication and writing, and it just creates healthy adults. And I saw something the other day that said you're not only mothering your son or your daughter, you're mothering all the generations of sons and daughters after them.
So,
And
thanks
the
for
thing
asking.
is, this generation, we are becoming way more emotionally intelligent than the generations before.
Yeah, we started getting into that. Yeah.
Whether we like are hyper aware or not. And so with kids, all of that do is just create a larger gap between parent and child. So it's like either you learn it and you figure out those ways, or you're gonna lose your kid.
Yeah. That's so good.
All right, Jess.
Pick one.
All right. Being short or rude to service workers. This is a huge red flag for me. I always pay attention to how somebody treats service staff.
Yep.
I worked in customer service. My college job, I was a barista at a coffee shop. You knew the customers that cared about you and the ones who didn't care. They're jerks, right? Eye contact is huge. Humanizing people when they are at a lower status than you is huge. Because I think all the time I'm like, what in my life put me anywhere different than somebody else who has a service job? I had a service job, right? I remember a few years ago, I was on a date with this guy that I'd been talking to for a little bit. You're in that stage where you're like collecting data, you're seeing the pros, you're seeing the cons.
I love that. Collecting data.
Collecting data. Like, so we're out to dinner and this old guy approaches us and it's obvious that he probably lives on the street. He has a sketchbook and a pencil. And so he approaches us and he doesn't engage with me, doesn't make eye contact with me, but he looks at the guy that I'm having dinner with and he says, "Can I sketch the lady's photo?" And he's like already starting to. He doesn't even look up at him. And he just gets dismissive with him. And immediately in my mind, I'm like,
Absolutely
I'm out.
not. Yeah.
Like that just did it for me. I'm out. Like, great guy. You know what I mean? Was never rude to me, right? Like had some fun times, whatever. But in that moment, I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Wait,
Yeah.
did you ask him, like, why did you dismiss him? Like,
It was, it was very like maybe third date. Like we're still really getting to know each other. And in the moment, like there's a lot of people around us. It was so obvious. I felt the need to overcompensate in this situation, right? Like, oh, like we're good. Like, thank you though. It's like really sweet. And so I'm like, always note how people treat people that they don't see as valuable. You can have all these qualities, but you pull up to a coffee shop or to a restaurant or, you know, like, did anyone see the clip of Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Bills, won an award and he shouted out the janitor at the Bills training facilities by name? And then they did an interview with the janitor and he was like, I didn't even know, like, I wasn't expecting that. I guess he was like home crying with his family. It was like so sweet, but I just think it shows so much character.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I love that. And I agree.
I can't stand when I'm out at a restaurant and they're giving the waitress a hard time.
Yeah. Yep. So you never know what people are going through.
All right, y'all. How we feeling? How your candles looking?
Good.
They look so pretty.
Yeah, it's mine.
I'm so excited.
And smells amazing already.
I know. I can't wait to light this at home. So this has been so fun. Kenzie, your space is absolutely beautiful. It feels like I am in a home. You've put a lot of love and care into it. Anybody who is looking to book an experience with friends, highly recommend our boy Kenzie over here. This was seamless and
A lot of fun.
a lot of fun.
Relaxing.
Yes.
I felt so relaxed and so like at home and really with my girls here. And the service is just amazing.
Group chat off air.
Actually, the phone's died.
Actually, it's not recording. Why didn't you tell us? I'm just kidding.